Hi there, guys. I'm just doing another quick video thing for the Dark Knight Rises. However, before I do, I think unfortunately it's something we do have to address. I just wanted to take some time to talk about the shootings and not so much give my opinion. That's for another day. I'm sure other people will. Um, I just wanted to formally myself. I'm sure other people have, but I just wanted to think we all should take a moment again to just put them in our prayers and stuff like that. And something I want to say right off the bat is please don't be afraid to go see this movie because of the shooting. Um, I know a lot of people have their I'm hearing rumors that like it was a 25% drop expected because people were afraid to go to movies. I just want to say this is how people like him work. Just they get into your mind. This is exactly what it is, the panic. So like I just think we need to address I'm not saying we need to uh, I'm not saying we need to just totally forget about it and forget what happened, but we don't also need to give him the power. But with that out of the way, let's get on the real reason why I talk about The Dark Knight Rises. Now, something you guys may not know is I saw this a couple days ago, maybe 3 4 days ago. Was all ready to go, and at the last minute, I'm like, I really couldn't make up my mind. Not because I'm trying to think this. Unlike Avengers or Spider-Man or other movies this year where it was a definitive, yes, this is awesome, yes, this is good, or yes, this is bad. Dark Knight is a strange beast because it was one of the ones where it's kind of three things in one, and so that's how I'm gonna break it down for you guys right now. Because in my opinion, it's three films. It's a follow-up to The Dark Knight, the close into the trilogy, but also how was it as a Batman film. Um, so I'm gonna try and stick up to those three, in order, but obviously I'm gonna flop around. So the first one is how is it as a sequel to Dark Knight? It's not as good, but I don't think anyone expected it to be. But it's a close second. Like in terms of enjoyment and like I really had fun with it. It was a good movie. I think there's only one moment I didn't like, but we'll talk about that later. Um, but yeah, like as a whole, the only thing I don't like is, and again, this is why I thought about it. In the moment, I'm just like, oh, well, they didn't include Joker. Um, but now I'm thinking about it, it's like they reference Raj al Ghul, they reference Harvey Dent and Scarecrow and all these other people, every main character from the first film, but they don't even reference the Joker. It's just if you're gonna reference every tiny character, you could have had something about the Joker, even a throwaway line like, "Oh, the Joker died." It would have been a nice Arkham City mod. But yeah, so there's not much to say about it as a sequel. It's very good. It doesn't top the sequel, but it comes close. Um, but the big one, I think the one we're gonna talk about most, how is it as a closer to the series? Well, again, this one is very good because it's more epic. Obviously, it's huger, it's bigger, it tops the scales even for the last film, which was pretty high up there. Um, so part of the reason I've had trouble deciding is that because see, as a film, it's very good. The only real problem I have with it is Bane, and I'm gonna spend a few minutes on this because, like, I really don't like Bane. Um, I'm gonna try and keep this as spoiler free as possible, but I understand some things I might be alluding to you won't understand until you see it, or I might, slip of the tongue thing. So I do apologize in advance. But yeah, first off, without even going spoilers, his voice. I always joked with people, walking out, he sounded like a sophisticated squirrel, but I think Victor Lucas of Electric Playground and Reviews on Run said it best when he sounds like Doctor Evil got a Darth Vader mask. It's like, Batman, I'm here for your deliverance. Like he always, he holds his chest out like the professor. It's just ridiculous. It's never once was like intimidated. I was intimidated by the words and what he was saying, but it loses a lot of context. Batman, I am here to bring the people's justice. So yeah, don't. I really hate the voice. I know some people are like, oh, it's good. Like, no, it's especially for Bane's character. I don't read much of the comics. My Batman knowledge only extends to the cartoon shows and the games, but I never really got Bane as like a sophisticated, intelligent man. He was always just kind of an addict or a junkie. I mean, he needed the Titan and stuff like that. It's like, okay, like, and here he's master plan. It's like kind of the Joker level of genius. It's like, well, I don't really think Bane was like that. Um, but I did like his character. Like when you learn about him, like as a character himself, it's good. I like he's intimidating. He's a good one to close the series. But just the fact that that's not Bane, and I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years, or you listen to the commentary and it's like, oh yeah, Bane was a amalgamation of like the Riddler, Bane, and something else. Because he definitely feels like maybe two or three people thrown in there. Um, but yeah, like Bane, I didn't think did it. That was my only main point. And at first I was gonna say, well, that means it's a good movie, doesn't it? But then I started to think about it. I was like, well, let's see. It's a good movie, yes, but it's not a good Batman movie. Now, what I mean by that is the other ones I felt we were very close to getting it. Like, um, this one is just like you don't really get a sense of Batman for because it's almost like this film isn't about building up Batman. It's just about closing it off, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. Is a lot of this movie is just tying up plot holes from definitively ending Nolan's Batman movies, which I'll talk about later. But it's just I didn't really get a sense for Batman in this one. I think he just felt, Batman, this is the same guy. But I think, I'm not saying you have to constantly remind us of the struggle they go through, but well, for example, he doesn't ever do any detective work, and for people who say he doesn't in the other ones, look at the scene where he, inspects the bullet in The Dark Knight Rises, or sorry, The Dark Knight. I apologize. I'm very tired. So yeah, like that's the biggest thing is, it's just he didn't feel like Batman. But before I go on to the ending stuff, because that's again going to take a while, I'm just going to talk about uh, Catwoman and Jonathan Blake. Those of you who watch the movie know why I'm taking my remember his real name. Because like Catwoman is a perfect example. She was very good as Selena Kyle, but I never felt like her Catwoman was good. It's kind of hard to describe. Her as a person, understanding why she's a robber, why she's like this. When she's outside of her costume, she's really good. And that's not to say she drops when she turns into Catwoman. It's just like, why are you dressing up? Why are you, fighting crime? Even, it just felt like that's what was written. And same with, John Blake. It's like, you're a cool character. I like you. You have good chemistry. Good charisma. But why are you doing what you're doing? Like, I think the biggest thing is, okay, look, like I said, I'm gonna be jumping around. This is probably the worst, most disconnected one ever. But if you're just a casual Batman fan, you're not gonna care about this. You're probably gonna bitch about Bane's voice, but beyond that, you're gonna be, yeah, it was pretty good. As a movie, it's good, but as a Batman movie, there's so many things, reveal characters at the end, the multiple endings, which I won't spoil, but I will say, like, if this is the last one, why did he leave it so open-ended with so many unanswered questions? So yeah, it's one of the things, if you're a casual fan, you won't care, but the die-hard people, the people who are like, love the movies, love the comics, are gonna find a lot to nitpick, a lot to, get upset about. So does that make that a bad movie? Because again, it's the two worlds. It's a good movie, but it's a pretty poor Batman movie. So what does that make it? And I thought about it, and it's like, at the end of the day, that still makes it a good movie. It's a movie you should definitely go see, if you haven't already, which I'm sure most people have. So definitely check it out. Like, I think that's the biggest thing I can say is Avengers and to a lesser degree Spider-Man. I talked about them a fair bit. I'm like, yeah, I liked them. You know, it's one of those things when you walk out of the movie, obviously you talk about it. Like I said, here it is, maybe 4 or 5 days later, I still haven't formed a definitive opinion. And I think that's a very strong quality in a movie, is if you keep talking about it afterwards. Because I can talk about Spider-Man, but I'm going to start to retread, and same with Avengers. This one, you can prove many different new points, and it still be fresh and original. So, yep, I'm sorry that probably went way longer than I thought. I could have just said the movie's good, go see it for yourself. But I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for listening.